Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been so long, I don't even know where to begin. I'm going to be sharing with you today my birth story. I have the boys here with me. Actually, I have all my boys here with me. That just makes me so happy. Just got them to sleep. I don't know how long they're gonna stay sleeping, so I'm gonna try and get through this as quick as I can. So, yeah. The boys are 3 weeks old today, so I don't know when this video is going to go up. I was scheduled to be induced on August 7th. Good morning, guys. Today's induction day. Today is August 7th, 2020. Me and Babe are on our way to the hospital. I am happy and excited, but I'm so scared and I'm so nervous. I've never been induced with any of my kids. I'm currently 38 weeks pregnant. I carried these babies to full term for twins, and I'm so blessed that I was able to do that. It has been a rough journey. We're gonna have 2 babies. Oh my God. I will update you guys as much as I can. I know for a fact that the hospital doesn't allow us to film, so I don't know how much we're gonna get on camera as far as me giving birth, but the whole process and everything, I will try and update you guys on every step of the way until I can't anymore. We left the house at 9:30. My grandma was here with the kids, so we got to the hospital. Before we walked into the hospital, we were temperature checked, and we had to make sure we wore a mask throughout the hospital if we left the room, and whenever someone was in our room with us. So that was fun. We finally get to our room. I'm all settled in by 11. I want to say around 1 something is when the doctors finally came in to check me. And at that time, I was 4 centimeters dilated, 80% effaced. All right, so how long have we been in here? We've been in here in the room since 10:30? No, we were in the waiting room at 10:30.
Yeah, 10:35.
We've been in here since like 11. It's now 2:28. And I got checked at, what time? 1:30. Before starting any type of induction, and I was 4 centimeters without any medication. Started me on the penicillin for the strep B, and they started me on Pitocin. Right? That's what she said?
Big fat. That big fat, you heard?
Okay, so I've been having contractions since I've been here, but I haven't felt them. They're having a really hard time monitoring both babies because they're very active. They took like an hour to get 2 separate heartbeats and 2 different nurses, right?
Yeah.
And I had to get a sono to figure out the positions. And what else? Feet are still super swollen. That close. They had been tracking my contractions, and they kept asking me, oh, do you feel that? You're having a contraction right now. Like, do you feel that? And I didn't feel any contractions. Because I was already 4 centimeters, they didn't want to give me the balloon because I think the balloon gets you to about 2 to 3 centimeters. So there was no point in getting that. So they went ahead and started me on the Pitocin. It was extremely hard for them to keep track of both babies. The heartbeats, I can't tell you how many times they came into the room to fix it because my babies just always moved. They kept moving, mainly baby A. Now, when all of this is going on, we just noticed a lot of things that we didn't like. And you guys, you may not know, some of you may not know, Babe is a nurse. He works at a different hospital, and he was just dissatisfied with how things were going. Because we were in the middle of a pandemic, we expected certain things coming from actual doctors, and that wasn't happening. They came in to check me. I don't know what time it was. I'll insert clip here. All right, update. What time did they come in? What time? What? Oh, she said like an hour and a half. They're gonna come back.
Yeah.
So they came in like around 8 p.m. to check me, and I'm still 4 centimeters, but I'm, what was it, -2 and 80% effaced. So they're gonna come back in 4 hours and check me from 8, so like around 12 a.m. And they're going to check me and then break my water. And then I'll probably get an epidural after they break my water. And I just had some Jello and apple juice.
So delicious.
It was so good. I have a headache. They gave me some Tylenol for a headache and some Tums. And that's about it. Still not feeling the contractions that much. I believe it was like 6 hours later. I was still 4 centimeters dilated. So I was kind of discouraged by that time. The second time that they came in to check me, we had a bit of a problem. For those of you that are not in the medical field, when they check you, they put on sterile gloves, they put on a sterile gown. Once you have sterile gloves on, you can't touch anything else because then they're no longer sterile. Of course, we are in the middle of a pandemic as well, you know, COVID-19. We're in a hospital. People in this hospital have COVID-19. So the doctor, when she was a resident, she put on her sterile gloves and then she touched her phone. You guys know how much germs is on a phone. She touched her phone. She was looking for her pen. She was touching the counter, and Babe couldn't hold his tongue anymore. No, he kind of just, I don't want to say he went off, but he kind of went off. He was like, no, you're not going inside of her. You need to change your gloves. He's like, I've been watching you this whole time. You don't come in here. You don't wash your hands. He's like, and I completely understand that, you know, you may wash your hands outside of the room, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I think to make patients comfortable, you should be washing your hands inside the room, because you have a tendency to come and put on gloves and then touch everything else with your gloves. And now you think that you're going to insert your fingers up my wife's vagina when you were just touching your phone. And I actually seen her touching her phone, and she kind of got defensive right off the bat. She didn't apologize. She just was like, I didn't touch anything. And then she tried to explain to us, you know, oh, that she washed her hands outside. But the issue was that after she put on sterile gloves, she touched her phone, she touched her pen, she touched the counter, she was touching a piece of paper. It was like, lady, no. So she kind of just got defensive and didn't say anything, didn't apologize. She ended up leaving. Her superior was in the room as well. And, you know, Jose is very passionate. Babe is very passionate about his family. He's very passionate about me. He's very protective. So he felt as though they didn't care that there was a pandemic going on. It was just another delivery, and who cares? So he said that. So that other doctor kind of got annoyed with him for saying that they didn't care. So I was trying to de-escalate him because he was calm, but because he's so passionate and he's 6'4", people might think that he's getting irate, and, you know, they might get scared because he's 6'4". He's this giant compared to these ladies. So I was trying to make sure that they knew that he was fine. He wasn't like irrational. He wasn't erratic, and he wasn't angry. I mean, he was, but he wasn't like uncontrollable, you know? The doctor turns around and she asks the nurse what the nurse thought. To both of our surprise, the nurse was like, I think they're right. She should have apologized instead of walking out, and she should be washing her hands in here. We all know that you can't touch anything after putting on sterile or working in a sterile field. She's like, you know, instead of apologizing, she got defensive and then she left. So we kind of were taken back because, you know, you don't go against the doctor as a nurse. So it was like, oh, and you can see it on the doctor's face too. She was a little bit taken back by her agreeing with us. So after the nurse spoke and said her piece, and she was, you know, very adamant about how proud she was of Jose for saying something, because most patients don't. And, you know, nurses can't be like, oh, you know, you do this wrong. I mean, you can, but you're looked down upon, you know? So we were just like, and I was taken back by this all because I was told, because I was having twins, I was going to be working with actual, like, doctors, like not residents, not a 2-year resident, like 5 years and plus. This is what I was told. That wasn't the case. So after that discrepancy, the older doctor, the one who had more years on her, she examined me and I was 5 centimeters dilated. So I only dilated another centimeter. So she said that she was going to come back in an hour and break my water. Okay, so it's 2:20 and you just broke my water at 2:05 a.m. and the liquid was clear. And what else? That's it. You broke my water. I'm starting to feel contractions a little bit more. So I'm gonna get an epidural soon so that I can get some rest because I'm very uncomfortable. I'm having contraction right now. And water leaking. Oh, and I was also 5 centimeters now when they checked me, and then after that they broke my water. They're hoping that now, since my water is broke, that it'll go quicker. So we'll see. After that, an hour passed. They came back. She came back. She came back without the other resident. So the doctor goes ahead and she breaks my water. And probably almost immediately, I started feeling contractions right after that. I waited, I think, a half an hour. And then I asked for an epidural because those contractions were hurting like crazy. I feel like I'm pretty good at handling contractions, but those contractions were crazy. By this time, it is now I don't know, it's early AM on the 8th. So I got the epidural and I was fine. I was good to go. It took up to a half an hour for me to stop feeling the contractions, but they did get like less severe and less severe, less severe. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I got my epidural. When did I get the epidural? I think at like 3:30, and that went well. What happened? So I got the epidural, and then I started feeling some heaviness on my chest, which is all normal apparently. About 5-10 minutes ago, they just checked me. And I am 8 centimeters and what was it? 100% effaced? And 0? I don't know, I don't remember the numbers, but it's almost time to start pushing, so that's good. Once they broke my water, things went really, really fast. It went from 0 to 100 very quick. I think she said they were gonna check me again at 6. They're gonna check me again in an hour. Huh? Oh, they're gonna do the penicillin at 6, unless I start feeling pressure. We should have babies, hopefully before the shift ends. Okay. So, I don't even know what time that was. I want to say about an hour later, my nurse comes back in and she asks me how I'm doing. And I'm like, for the first time ever, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom. She's like, all right, well, let me check you. So she goes ahead, she comes and she checks me and she was like, oh, you are 10 centimeters. It is time. I took all day to get to 5 centimeters. You guys break my water and it took me freaking like 2-3 hours to get to 10 centimeters. Like, why did you guys break my water when you found out it was 4 centimeters? Like, I was just so annoyed because I just felt like all of this could have been avoided the whole day. Whatever. So, so she calls in another nurse and they start prepping me to get me ready to go to the operating room. So they get me all ready. They give Babe his gear to put on to go into the operating room. And they wheel me out. As soon as my bed left the room, I started crying. The entire walk to the operating room, I was crying. I was so scared. I was just so scared of the unknown, of not knowing. So they wheel me to the operating room. It felt like it took forever to get there. Once we go inside the room, there's all these people. I couldn't stop crying. I was looking for Babe. I could not find him. I don't know why it took so long for him to come in. And he actually told me, he was like, I was right outside the door. They wouldn't let me go in. I don't know why, whatever. So finally, he comes in. No, they transfer me from the room bed to the bed that I was going to be delivering on, which wasn't even a bed. It was like this skinny ass table, literally, like, I don't even know how I fit on there. Like, I felt like one of my butt cheeks was probably hanging off. Had an epidural, so didn't really feel it. So they moved me onto there. They are making like this place where you put your feet up. It was just so uncomfortable, to be completely honest. They have like a sonogram hooked up thing to see the babies. There's all these people. The anesthesiologist is in there talking to me, and he's like calming me down because I was like crying still. So that was fun. So finally Babe comes into the room and the doctors come in and it's time to push. So my feet are up in the air. I'm on this little table and they're telling me to pull my legs back and start pushing. My legs themselves felt like they weighed like 50 pounds. So they're telling me to pull them to my stomach. And I literally couldn't really do it because they were so heavy and I was just getting out of breath. There was no one pushing my legs up to me. Like, no one was helping me with my legs. I wasn't feeling the contraction, so I didn't know. They did end up turning my epidural down so that I can feel when I was having a contraction, which wasn't too bad. So I pushed and pushed, and at one point I thought I pooped. I was like, what was that? Did I just poop? And they're like, no, that's the baby. They're telling me to put my hand down there so that I can feel the baby's head, which I really didn't want to do. But, I did it. It was gross, to be completely honest. It's gross. It's gross. They told me to push. So I go ahead, I push one more time. And at 6:34 a.m., baby A was delivered.
Do you want this blanket on you or me to take it off?
Take it off now.
Daryl, can you grab this for me? Thanks.
I'm getting a little
Do you want
nauseous.
a pillow?
Okay.
All right, dear.
She's getting nauseous. Do you have any bed? Yeah.
that better?
Thank you.
Can you put it so the audio is on baby A?
Here. Do you want to feel your baby's head?
All right, she's having a contraction now. You push.
Harder. Harder. See your bottom. Push my fingers out. Yes. Beautiful. Harder. You got this. Come on. Deep breath.
One more. He's out of there. One more.
Ready?
You got it. Go. Harder. Come on.
There you go. Perfect.
Push.
Give me more.
There you go.
A little bit more. Come on.
A little bit more.
Push.
Come on, let's go.
Push.
Yes.
Heads out.
Oh my God, my baby. All right, hold on.
You got it.
Hands, Michelle. Hands.
All right. You looking?
Oh,
I need to see baby B though. Move it up.
yay.
Reach in. No, your hand goes in. She takes care of this. Or like that, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like
I know.
bring it into the pelvis.
You ready for the time for baby A?
Let me just tell you guys, when they put him on my chest, I was shocked by how big he was. I was thinking that these babies were gonna be the size of Alayna. She was like 6 pounds, something ounces. No, he was not. He was like a full-blown newborn. Like, he was huge. And he had this really dark birthmark on his back. I think he also peed on someone, I'm not sure. But he came out first. That was my Giovanni. So I had him, they put him on my chest, and I want to say about a minute or two, I started getting the shakes. So they took him, and I told Babe to go off with him. And, you know, they wanted me to go ahead and start pushing baby B. Something with I think his heart rate had went up a bit. So Babe comes back over, he's holding the baby, he's all wrapped up. He's like, he was 8 pounds, 4 ounces? 8 pounds, 5 ounces. Yes, 8'5". Babe came back over and I started pushing baby B. And that was extremely hard because I wasn't feeling like I was making any progress, and I was getting super tired and the shakes were becoming uncontrollable. So at one point his heart rate stabilized and he went back to normal. They kind of went up there to see, and he was very up high. So he was like up here. So they told me to just relax, and they were going to let me labor some more. They turned my epidural up a little bit, so I wasn't, you know, drained because of the contractions, and I stopped pushing. Everything kind of just stopped, and I was just laboring. Within this time, though, I was shaking uncontrollably. They kept putting tons of blankets on me. I was so cold, and I was literally shaking, like, and I couldn't stop. My whole body was shaking. They gave me something, I think, that was supposed to help, and it did not. Now, this is when it started to get a little bit scary for me, because I kind of just started getting out of it. Like, I don't know what was going on. Things just got pretty much cloudy from this point on. So I laid on the table. I labored for a little over an hour, and then they told me it was time to push again. I was having a really hard time. I remember that. I remember I was getting really frustrated because they kept telling me to pull my legs back. I don't know why I verbally didn't say I can't freaking hold these heavy ass legs, because I'm very outspoken. I don't have a problem speaking up for myself, so I'm not really sure why I didn't. Like I said, at this point, I was out of it. I saw at one point the doctors huddled and talking and looking at my vagina. They finally came over to me and they said that baby B was still pretty high. So at this point, they didn't want me to have a C-section. I, had been laboring for almost 2 hours. Like, everything was going on for almost 2 hours, and they didn't want to do that to me. So they recommended that they help bring him down with forceps. So in my eyes, I was like, okay, well, you're not cutting me open, so why not? I know at one point they, obviously they must have inserted the forceps to help bring him down. And at 8:12 a.m., Mr. Julian was born, and he was 7 pounds, 14 ounces. Humongous babies for twins. These doctors and nurses and techs could not believe, NICU people, they couldn't believe how big the babies were. I don't remember. I asked Babe, did they put Julian on top of me? Because I don't remember that. And he said they did. He said that I could barely really hold him because I was still shaking quite a bit. So they kind of took him right away and got him cleaned up. And now everything gets real foggy. So now I have to deliver 2 placentas. I don't remember having to push the placentas out. At this point, I kind of went fog. I feel like I was in and out of sleepiness. I don't want to say unconscious because no one said that I was unconscious ever. So I don't know if I was falling asleep. I don't know what was going on. But at this point, during them removing the placentas, I was hemorrhaging. So I was losing a lot of blood. I lost a lot of blood. I don't remember any of this. I'm going off of what Babe told me. I do remember them inside of me. I remember the weird feeling. I remember bits and pieces of them, scooping and tugging and pulling, and my legs were still up. Babe said that they kind of had their whole arm up there and was just scooping out the blood. So I lost 1,800 liters, pints. I don't know. It was, I lost a lot of blood. And to be completely honest, that is pretty much all I remember. The next thing that I remember is waking up, and I woke up in our labor and delivery room, and it was nurses coming to check on the babies, and I just had no idea. They're asking me, how much breast milk, and it was just like, Babe was like, no, they didn't get any breast milk. I didn't do skin to skin with them because I was asleep. I was sleeping and I couldn't be woken up. Like, he said that he couldn't wake me up. He was like trying to talk to me and I was just completely out. He said that I was sleeping probably for like 3 hours. I didn't even remember what the boys looked like. Like, it was just, it bothers me and it upsets me a little bit and it gets me a little bit emotional because I don't like the feeling of not remembering what happened to me. I don't think anybody would. Oh man, I'm getting emotional. Don't want to cry. That was pretty much the most traumatic delivery I have ever had. I know once they came into the room asking me about the boys, the doctors came back in and they told me that how much blood I lost, and they told me that I needed a blood transfusion. So I ended up getting 2 blood transfusions. I remember getting the blood transfusion, and I remember after the first one, I remember feeling a lot better. So I don't know if after I had Giovanni, baby A, is when I started losing a lot of blood, because after having him is when I started getting the shakes, when things started getting foggy, and I don't know, I just feel like after I had him is possibly when I was starting to lose blood. Crazy thing about this whole labor and delivery, when I tell you guys, I thought that I had like, I don't know how many stitches down there. Guys, I did not tear, not one bit. My vagina was not sore. You know how after you give birth, your vagina's a little bit sore. Sometimes you need ice pack. Sometimes you need the witch hazel. None of that. My vagina was completely fine. Like fine. The only thing, my belly is what hurt me the most. Like I couldn't really get up. I couldn't walk right. I ended up having to stay in the hospital for 3 days. Babe, he was amazing. He made sure that they were doing stuff correctly. He made sure that they were washing their hands. He made sure that no one was touching the babies without washing their hands. He made sure that they were being fed because mommy was out of it and I just couldn't. In the beginning, that first day, he made sure I was getting sleep. Like he was amazing. He was amazing during this entire pregnancy. I could not have had a better partner by my side this pregnancy other than him. Let me go ahead and introduce you to them. They are both still sleeping, so I don't know if I really want to wake them up. I don't, but I'm gonna introduce YouTube world to the boys one at a time because I am here by myself. Guys, so this is baby A. This is Giovanni, my handsome little boy. And you see all this hair? This is why I had so much heartburn all day, every day. And his back is so hairy. And this is my 8 pound 5 ounces. He weighed, well, both of the boys weighed more than all 3 of my girls. Just so crazy because they were just one baby. These were 2. They were supposed to be split and stuff. But this is Giovanni. And yeah, he's doing well. He's a lazy eater. He gets mostly formula because he's a lazy eater. He does not like to suck. So it's really hard to nurse him. So, let me get his brother. Julian looks like a tomato right now. But this is Julian, aka Papa Nico. And the girls, Alayna and Aaliyah, call him Baby Nico. But this is Julian. And he was my 7 pound, 14 ounce baby. He was baby B. And yeah, they are fraternal twins. And we thought that they were going to look more alike. Just one was going to be lighter than the other. They are not. They look completely different. It's so weird. It's like, damn, I had 2 very different babies just in my belly at the same time. That's so crazy to me. These are my boys. I am so happy to have 2 more sons. Avery is so happy to have brothers. I think all the kids really just love having baby brothers, except for Ariyanna. She probably is just like, just don't have any more kids, which I don't plan on it, girl. Don't plan on it. I'm also realizing how blessed I truly am. I can't say that I would want to go through all that pain again. It is what it is, but I'm so glad that I stuck with it. And the most that I can complain about is the pain. I'm so blessed that they didn't have to go to the NICU, that they were full-blown huge babies for twins, as I am told, and that they're healthy and happy. So with that being said, that is pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any questions, you can just leave your questions down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sure this video is probably longer than what it needed to be. So thank you guys for hanging in there, hearing my birth story. And yeah, I hope you go ahead and continue on this journey with me, with my family, me figuring out how to be a mother to 6 kids, because it's crazy. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.